Hi, welcome to your this webinar, this training. We're really excited to be able to share this with you. The purpose of this training is to teach you how to hire your dream associate and get your life back. This is from Dentist Partner Pros, and we'll be talking about the associate hiring system. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what you need to do to hire your dream associate. These are the same steps Dr. Matt Harmon, Doug Green, Dr. Isaac Navarro, Dr. Julie Babcock, and many more have used to hire their dream associate to get their life back on track. So who's this training for? This training is for if you are a high-performing private practice dental owner who needs to hire a rock star dentist, one that you can trust with your team, your patients, and your practice. Ultimately, either way, you want to increase your wealth. Well, what is wealth? We like the definition from Chuck Blakeman, which is the ability to choose what to do with your time and money. Both are super important. Ultimately, this is why most people own a business, to be able to help them become wealthier, leading to living their ideal lifestyle. Who are we? Well, we are Dentist Partner Pros. We were founded back in 2021 by Bob Spiel and Brighton Hilt. Hey, I'm Brighton. Bob Spiel really is the main founder here. He's the owner of Spiel Consulting, a practice management consulting firm. It's been running for the last 15 plus years. He's an author of Flip Your Focus and a keynote speaker in a lot of the awesome dental conferences that you've probably been to, like Chicago Midwinter. My name's Brighton. I'm the other co-founder. I'm actively the COO. Bob's our CEO. I've been in dentistry for the last 3+ years, and I love helping private practices build high-performing teams through hiring the right people. We are super excited to share with you our mission, which is to help busy, high-performing private practice owners get off the hamster wheel and get their life back by helping them find the right associate who stays, fits, and makes the practice money. Why trust us? Well, over the last 10+ years, we've been helping private practices hire their dream associate. This started back when it was just Spiel Consulting, and it was Bob's consulting firm, and we recently just started it as Dentist Partner Pros back in 2021. But we've been doing this for a long time. We have over a 90% success rate when hiring and placing associates compared to the industry average of 75% failure rate. More on that later. We work only in dentistry, and we've helped hire associates in all specialties, including GPs, perio, endo, oral surgeons, and holistic biological practices, as well as fee-for-service practices. So this training really is to help two types of doctor owners. You must be a high-performing private practice owner who either is growing so much your practice is actually starting to outgrow you. Typically, this leads to burnout and a desire to get your life back. Your practice is getting busier, it's humming, it's really picking up. But the problem is you are the pinching point, and you really need help in getting over this growth curve. Secondly, you are a seasoned practice owner, or you're a seasoned practice owner who is beginning to look to transition out of your practice in the next few years. So this is typically someone that's looking forward to sunset, starting to slow down. They want to be able to find the right person to take over their practice, maybe sell it to them and transition out. Okay, so those are the two type of doctors. If you're either one of those, you're in the right place. Okay. In this training, you'll learn the exact steps to hire your dream associate. We'll discuss how the old way of hiring does not work and is way more expensive than you think, how to know exactly who's going to fit within your unique practice, how to find, recruit, vet candidates to ensure you bring on your ideal associate, and lastly, how to create a win-win offer so good both of you and the associate feel excited to work together. Sound good? Let's roll. First one, the old way of hiring does not work anymore. This has led to a shocking 75% failure rate with dental associateships, and that's within 1 year. You will not find this in any other industry. You find it in dentistry because dentists work in a sandbox together. It's like two head chefs in the same kitchen. You have to have a lot of things going for you, more than you're both dentists, you both have license, and you may like some of the same things. Why do 75% fail? Well, you could have a whole another presentation on this, but just a few is we see difference in values. These are like family, personal values, difference in philosophy, practice philosophy, dentistry philosophy, how they view money, and the difference in communication styles, and the lack of understanding those with each of the other. These are just some of the few indicators that we see commonly lead to dental associateships. So if the old way doesn't work, how do you change it? Well, here's 4 steps to hiring your dream associate. We're going to cover how to identify the ideal candidate avatar, where to find them, how to vet them, and how to create a win-win competitive offer. First, how do you know who is the right fit for your practice? Well, let's talk about Dr. Matt Harmon. He was doctor number one that we described earlier. He was burnt out, working 60, 70 hours a week, maybe even 80 at some points. He was just grinding away because he's a fantastic dentist. People wanted to see him. And as the good dentist and hardworking man that he was, he just kept opening up his schedule and working harder and harder. Well, eventually, that was leading to this burnout, right? So he finally decided that he needed to hire an associate to relieve some of this tension. Well, he had an old dental school buddy that he thought would work well in his practice. Turns out when he went through this process, he realized they didn't agree with practice philosophy. They were different on values. They had different views on money. They were just not going to be a good fit. They were total opposites. It would have ended horribly. So here's what he did and what you can do to find your ideal associate. First, you need to identify who is your ideal fit. Think of both clinical and personality traits. Both are super important. Ask your team, once you've gone through this process of kind of roughing it out, write them all down, some of these traits that you want, and ask your team for their feedback. Get them bought into the process, let them know that you're going to start looking for someone and see what they think would work well. Once you've gone through that process, write it down in an Excel sheet, a Google document, whatever it is, create a list of these characteristics, come up with definitions of them, and really get crystal clear. What this looks like, you have a list of 20 to 30 characteristics written out of a document, clarify the definition of those, and objectively use these as benchmarks for the type of candidates you're looking for. Okay, this becomes your ideal avatar, right? Next, we've discussed how to identify the ideal candidate avatar. Okay, once you've identified what that person looks like, where to find them. Well, meet Dr. Doug Green. He's a holistic fee-for-service practice owner out in Minneapolis, Minnesota area. He's a mentor for Gordon Christensen's PCC. He's on the faculty there. And he needed a very particular person. He went through the process of creating this ideal avatar, figuring out, I really need someone special because my patients demand certain things, and I want this person to be able to be someone I can really trust with those patients. So he went through that process, but he was slammed. His practice was growing like crazy. He couldn't keep up, let alone, his practice was growing. He was super slammed, let alone finding the extra time to go find candidates. So what did he do and what can you do? First, figure out where your dream candidate would be. This comes back to the ideal avatar. Do you need someone with experience? Do you need someone with no experience? Do you need them to be teachable? Whatever it is. You're going to find them in three main sources. They're either in school, they're in a residency program, or they're actively working. That's where we're going to find candidates. You can also find candidates coming out of the military, but you could say that's active workforce, whatever. Regardless of that, these are like your main three that you're going to find people in. Okay, so how do you get people from those three sources into applying for your job? First, tell everyone you know. This includes sales reps. This includes other dentists that you may know. Spread it in your network that you're really excited to welcome on a new associate to your practice. Once you've started that process, write a great job ad emphasizing pay and benefits. Also, something that makes your practice unique. This is basically your recruiting or sales letter to candidates looking at your job. Okay, this is a really important document. You need to spend time actually preparing it. Make sure it's concise, it's simple, but it's also compelling. Once you've got this great job ad written, post it on all major job boards like Indeed, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter. Once you've done that, also post it on dental specific job boards like Dentist Job Connect or other local state ADA websites. Every state has their own dental association website. Post it on there. Typically, you can pay for a sponsorship. They're anywhere from $100 to $500 depending. So once you've done that, watch these like a hawk. People will apply. You need to be on top of it, checking it every single day so that you can stay top of mind with these candidates. Okay, so now we've identified how to identify the ideal avatar, where to find them. Now, once you start getting candidates, how to vet them. Meet Dr. Isaac Navarro. He originally, we actually helped place him in a practice out in Visalia, California. He then just recently purchased this practice just a year ago and has gone through the process of growing and needing to find some new associates. So he went through the process. He identified his ideal avatar. He started telling everyone no, and he started getting candidates from the local market that were really respected. People really like him. And if you met him, frankly, you'd like him too. He needed to figure out a way if these people were the right fit, not just if he liked them or if they could come fit in with his practice. He wanted to make sure they were the right fit. So you can follow the intentional vetting process here. First, conduct multiple behavioral-based interviews. These, we can break down in just a sec what that actually looks like, but conduct multiple interviews. Check multiple references. Speak to people that know what it's like to work with them. And if you can talk to someone that can speak to their hand skills, even better. Run a background check, social media screening, personality test. Now, you can't hire or disqualify anyone because of their social media screening or any of those specific laws, but they are things you can use to get to know them, especially if the account's public or you ask for it. We love personality tests. We're authorized partners with DISC. It's a Wiley brand. Other people like to use Myers-Briggs or even Colby Strength Finder. Whatever you're familiar with, you could use that. Then once you've gone through that process on your own, bring in the team. Have this candidate come on site and spend a day. Do this after you've interviewed them. If you get a new candidate come in, don't be the first thing to do have them come on site. That just causes confusion and a little bit of chaos. So once you've gone through some of these first few steps, then have them come on site. Once they've come on site and you've had a great day, ask the team for their feedback. Would they hire them? Would they not? Okay, so what is behavioral-based interviewing? Really quick, it's simple. Prepare interview questions based on the ideal avatar characteristics. Only ask open-ended questions about the candidate's previous experience. We believe that the past is the greatest indicator of the future. So if you need if you need someone that is patient-focused, how have they been patient-focused in the past? That's a great indicator of how they're going to be patient-focused in the future. Once you've gone through all these steps, score the candidate according to that ideal avatar, rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. How well do they match up with these scores? Okay, so we've identified the ideal avatar, where to find them, how to vet them, and now how to create a win-win competitive offer. Meet Dr. Julie Babcock. She is a holistic fee-for-service practice owner out in Kansas City area. She's looking to start to slow down and bring on the right fit for her practice, someone that she could transition out to. She struggled to know what was the best move for her and her practice moving into the future because, frankly, she had never brought anyone else on. She just had a lot of uneasiness about what would be competitive, what wouldn't be, and she finally found someone that she was really excited about because she went through the ideal avatar, the recruiting process, and then the vetting process, and she found someone she was ready to give an offer, but she didn't want to get taken advantage of. She needed a win-win offer. First step to do to create a win-win offer is identify your overhead. Real simply, this is all expenses before Dr. Owner is paid except for amortization and depreciation. This helps you to know what you can actually afford to pay and remain profitable. So just identify where that overhead level's at. And then if you can, we recommend pay anywhere from 30, 32, 34, even up to 35% if you can of adjusted production or collections, if you can afford it. Also, be sure to include benefits in this offer, like mentorship. If you want someone that you can mentor, be specific how you're going to fulfill that. A CE stipend, whether that's an annual amount or you match it 50-50, health benefits if you can afford it, or even if it's just a medical stipend, and then a path to ownership. What does that actually look like? How would that detail, whether that's a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year window? You don't have to have valuation or terms, but just know that the more specific you can be in there, the more competitive it's going to be for you. Okay, that's how you could create a win-win offer. So these are the 4 steps we've talked about to hire your dream associate. Identify the ideal avatar, where to find them, how to vet them, and how to create a win-win competitive offer. So now, what should you do? Well, you really have 3 options. You can do nothing, you can do it yourself and try to find the time, or you can hire a guide. All 3 come with financial and opportunity costs. Okay, each option does. The first, what are the hidden costs if it doesn't work out? If you happen to fall into that 75% failure rate? Well, if you ever gone through it or you have a friend that's gone through it, you know the cost of rework if they just weren't a very qualified dentist and you have to go back and do some of that rework. The stress of a broken relationship, oftentimes these people we bring into our lives become great friends, and when we lose them, it sucks. Just frankly, it is not fun. You lose a friend, you lose a family member, whatever it is, that relationship's broken. Often as a result of a failed associateship, you lose team members or you lose patients, a loss of rapport with referring providers, and then you have all the unfinished treatment plans if you don't get it right. This is expensive, man. Those are expensive costs that we don't talk about enough, okay? So the do nothing option If nothing changes, then nothing changes. This is the right option for you if you are content living on the hamster wheel that is on fire. Basically, if you're running too fast and you don't have speed, if you're okay with the associateship revolving door, aka the dental divorce cycle, is what we call it sometimes. What's the cost of doing nothing? Well, you have the 75% failure rate. You have the associateship revolving door and hundreds of thousands of dollars of lost opportunity cost and missed opportunities. You're either one or two doctors here. You're going to keep hiring the wrong way, or two, you're not going to hire someone and you're going to miss out on all the potential growth. Every day that you go by that you don't have someone in there to help you, you're missing out. Your practice is missing out. Your patients are missing out. And so then you have the constant stress of turnover and not having enough time for patients, staff, or personal time. I wouldn't be interested in that if I were you, but to each their own. The do-it-yourself option. This is a great option if you have the time, right? So you can follow the process that we've outlined here, be intentional with it, and then hire someone who fits your practice needs and culture. Challenge that 75% failure rate. But how much does this cost to you, considering time and opportunity cost? Well, if you really follow the process that we've outlined, you can tell it is thorough. It is time intensive. It requires quite a bit of energy. This process can actually take up to almost 150 hours of work. How do you find that time? I'll give you a secret. Most people don't. They take shortcuts. They skip parts of the process. They rush it. They hire too late. They hire too fast. Whatever it is, how are you going to find 150 hours of time? And you could say, there's no way it's going to take 150 hours of time. Well, you could challenge that all you want. We do this all day, every day. We are very confident that it takes a long time to nail this process. Okay. So let's say you use production hour to do it. Conservatively, $500 an hour, 150 hours is $75,000 in opportunity cost alone for just one associate. If it takes you a few tries, the industry average is $300,000 in opportunity cost. So if you include that and the cost of the failed associateships in the process, it's more like $300,000 to $400,000 for a failed associateship. What's the other option? If they're so expensive, what do you do about it? Now, you can do it yourself, find the time, follow the process, and I hope you crush it. But the other option is to find a guide with the expertise and experience to guarantee results. Introducing the Dentist Partner Pros Associate Hiring System. This is a done-for-you white glove service that is transforming how dentists like you hire ideal associates, one who stays, fits, and makes your practice money. The associate hiring system has taken a 75% failure rate and turned it into a 90% success rate over the last 10 plus years across multiple different specialties. The system addresses these 4 questions that we talked about today. So first, how to be 100% certain you have the ideal fit. Introducing the Ideal Associate Blueprint. The Ideal Associate Blueprint starts with surveying your team. We have a team DPP, team culture survey that we send to your team beforehand and get a very clear understanding of what your culture is like, what's being said, what's not being said. And then objectively, we come in, we actually provide DISC behavioral assessments to you, the practice owner, and all other main office leaders like office managers or any other doctors in the practice. We sit down with the doctor owner and we interview you. We get to know you. We get to know what you like, what you don't like, what makes your practice unique, your offering unique, what do you really want? Go really in depth with you. Then we come on site. We visit your practice so we can speak authentically moving forward, and we observe your team, the practice, the patients, and we actually sit down and have one-on-one confidential team member interviews. Anyone that's available, we want to sit down, ask their opinion on who's going to succeed in this practice. We gather all that information and we create the ideal avatar and give a recommendation for you over our consultation and decision call. We then get it in a very easy to understand format in our ideal avatar report. That is the Ideal Associate Blueprint. It gives you 100% crystal clear understanding of who is going to fit in your practice. Next, where do we find them? Well, how do you find your ideal candidate with little to no effort? Because that takes a ton of time. Introducing the Relentless Recruiting Machine, the second part of the associate hiring system. The Relentless Recruiting Machine starts with done-for-you, proven job ad creation. As you could tell earlier, we are passionate about how to create a great job ad, and we do it every day, all day. We know what works, what people are looking for, how to communicate your uniqueness across that offer, across that job ad. We then post and manage the ads across the best recruiting platforms to get you the best candidates for the best price. You have a devoted recruiting team working on your recruiting efforts every single day, which includes a headhunting specialist going and finding the best candidates. Through that entire relentless recruiting machine process, we actually give you weekly progress updates minimally and monthly in-depth reports on your recruiting efforts. We tell you who we're excited about, who's going to be great, and this is completely done for you. So in the associate hiring system, you get the ideal associate blueprint, the relentless recruiting machine, and now how to vet them. How do you eliminate doubt and know you have found the ideal candidate? This is the intensive vetting process. The intensive vetting process starts with screening calls. We review every single resume and get on a call with them to understand that they're a real person and that they might be a good fit. We then send them through multiple behavioral-based interviews that we prep. It's one of our skills, and it's actually one of our core values that we ask great questions, and we do a very good job at our interviewing. It's a skill we've trained and practiced and keep getting better and better at. Once they've gone through the interviews, we run them through a background check and a social media screening like we discussed earlier. We just take care of it for you. We do multiple reference checks, and we have best practices to actually get great information from those references. We send them through a DISC behavioral assessment and provide analysis on that. All that information is summed up in the ideal avatar scoring and candidate fit report. We sit down with you and we summarize all the information in a really easy to digest report and give you a recommendation. Should you move forward with this person? Should you not? If you decide to move forward with them, we teach you and your team how to have a great on-site day through the on-site team interview blueprint. And then once they've been there, we actually send surveys to your team to get feedback from them on what they think of the candidate. So that is the intensive vetting process. It is intense. It takes a lot of time, but we're really proud of the results it provides. So the associate hiring system, ideal associate blueprint, relentless recruiting machine, the intensive vetting process, now how to create a win-win offer, or how to prepare and negotiate a win-win offer. This is the win-win offer framework. It starts with sitting down with you and reviewing your profit and loss statement. We want to know how much you can afford. We walk you through this entire process and sit down over an offer consulting call saying, here's the benefits we'd recommend for you in your market. Here's some bonuses. Here's what medical stipend you should consider. CE, what would be competitive for you? We give you a very crystal clear picture of what's going to make sense for the best offer for your practice. Once we've had that call with you, we then go and prepare the letter of intent and the associate agreement for you. You don't even have to worry about it. These are attorney reviewed documents. We know they're sound. We just custom to meet your needs. Once we actually gone through the entire process and we have a candidate we want to present it to, we sit down with the candidate for you, if you like, and present that offer and negotiate the terms on your behalf. That way you don't have to enter into that awkward, I don't want to get taken advantage of, but I want to be fair and I got to look out for myself, all that stuff. We take care of it for you. You don't have to enter into that. We represent you in that case. And once we get an offer in their hand, we got to stay top of mind, touching base with them and setting clear deadlines on when we want to have decisions made. And that's through our relentless follow-up system. So in the associate hiring system, you get the ideal associate blueprint, which gives you 100% certainty you know who is going to fit in your practice. Then they go through the relentless recruiting machine where we find the best candidates for the best price for you. You don't ever have to worry about writing a job ad or posting it or managing it or responding. We take care of it for you. Then they go through the intensive vetting process through multiple interviews, reference checks, DISC behavioral assessment, all those things to the point where we can give you a candidate fit report. We teach you how to have an awesome day. And then once we have a candidate in process, they go through the win-win offer framework and we present the offer and negotiate it for you. You never have to worry about it. That is the associate hiring system. Wow, that's a lot. So now what is the investment to have the associate hiring system? Well, how much is 150 hours of your time worth to you? That's nearly 20 working days, or 150 hours to be with your family, or 150 hours to go golfing or fishing or whatever else you like to do. Think about it in this way. Some equipment in your practice can cost up to $200,000, yet we don't blink an eye. We say it's just the cost of doing business. It helps me produce more and provide more value for my patients. Well, we would argue that the most important asset in your practice besides you is your team. The average associate produces, and that's average, conservatively, $50,000 per month, $600,000 per year. There's nothing you can add, no piece of equipment that you can add to your practice that will produce that much more in additional revenue for you and your practice and help you get your life back, right? So what was it worth it to Dr. Harmon, Dr. Babcock, Dr. Green, and Dr. Navarro to save 150 hours while they would have happily paid over $100,000 to take this problem off their hands. Dentist Partner Pros would never charge that much. The associate hiring system is yours for just a total fee of only $35,000. Yes, so you get the entire associate hiring system, the blueprint, the recruiting machine, the vetting process, the offer framework for just $35,000. But what's the risk? Because that's still not cheap. We get it. Still not cheap. It is backed by 2 guarantees. Yes, we have 2 separate guarantees to back our work. First, guarantee number 1, the pay for performance promise. This means you only pay a 30% deposit and the rest of the fee isn't due until we've actually fulfilled and hired your ideal associate for you. So that means it's only $10,500 to get started. So for just $10,500 to get started, you get all of the associate hiring system, the ideal associate blueprint, the recruiting machine, the vetting process, the offer framework, and the pay for performance promise. Plus guarantee number 2, which is the associate assurance guarantee, where if we've gone through this whole process and we find someone and it's still not the good fit within 6 months of their hiring date, we will find a replacement for no additional fee. Yes, no additional fee. So we take on the risk ourselves. We're proud of our work. So the associate hiring system includes the ideal associate blueprint, gives you a crystal clear picture of who's going to fit. Then we take care of all the recruiting for you through our relentless recruiting machine. We send them through the intensive vetting process to give you a candidate fit report so you know exactly if they're the right fit for your practice or not. Then through the win-win offer framework, we negotiate those offers, make sure you're being competitive, and they're backed by the pay for performance promise and the associate assurance guarantee. What does it look like, though, when you use the associate hiring system? Dr. Harmon today hired Dr. Chester nearly 2 years ago, and he is on his path to buy into the practice. He's producing over $1 million per year, Dr. Chester is, and Dr. Harmon is doing more of the dentistry that he loves. He's spending more time with his family. He's finally, after like 10 years, took vacation. He took vacation, right? Because he didn't have to close his practice to do it. He could leave it to Dr. Chester. And lastly, he's been building his dream home and is just about done. We're super happy for Dr. Harmon. Dr. Green today just built a brand new, beautiful office. He has 2 great associates that are both producing over 7 figures. He spends more time with his family at his cabin. He's spending more time teaching CE with Gordon Christensen. He's spending more time doing the things he loves, like playing drums in his band. Dr. Navarro today just hired 2 excellent dentists. His second one actually starts in 2 weeks for his expanding practice. He gets to spend more time with his growing family and teaching CE out of his expanded new office. He added on a whole separate section so he could teach more CE, which he is just born to teach. Dr. Julie Babcock was able to spend the summer at her lake house with her husband, spending time doing what she likes to do. I mean, she's still working, but she didn't have to worry about recruiting or finding or anyone. Now she has peace of mind moving forward, and she was able to take a vacation with her husband to Europe. All of them increased their wealth, alleviated stress for themselves, their teams, and frankly, their families, and they served more patients better. It's less than 1 month's production from this new associate or you to get started for the entire associate hiring system, just $10,500. However, we do have more. So if you take advantage of our action taker free bonuses, this includes the support staff hiring system, which when you add another doctor, you typically need more support staff, like an assistant or a new front desk person, whatever it is. We'll find those people for you and send them over to you. You also get a free marketing analysis from Gargle. Gargle is a leading marketing company that will provide free marketing analysis if you want help getting busy faster. And then lastly, you get the Partnership Path Playbook, which is the proven playbook with SOPs and best practices to ensure you and your new associate are on your way to becoming partners. And that's either equitable partners or not. Either way, you want to be working as partners. One thing to know about us, we do have limited capacity. We limit how many active projects we take on in order to maintain quality and service for each client. So just be aware of that. This fills up relatively quickly. So again, the associate hiring system for just $10,500, you get the ideal associate blueprint, the relentless recruiting machine, the intensive vetting process, win-win offer framework, the pay for performance promise, the associate assurance guarantee, and the fast action bonuses of the support staff hiring system, the Gargle marketing analysis, and the Partnership Path Playbook. So how do you get started? You schedule a time to talk with us at Dentist Partner Pros. Show up to your call prepared with questions that you may have, and ask how you can take advantage of the action taker free bonuses and start looking at dates to have DPP visit your practice. You can schedule your call today by emailing us at brighton@dentistpartnerpros.com or bob@dentistpartnerpros.com. You can text us at 801-515-4566, or you can scan this QR code, which goes directly to our calendar link. Regardless, we love the opportunity to earn your business and help you get your life back and hire your ideal associate.